And today, the recommended connector in all the standards is the LC. Those who know the ST, the SC, those are no longer recommended. They still exist, but they're not recommended. Who's seen this one before? MPO? Yep. The MPO is nothing new. The MPO is an old connector. It's existed for more than 10 years, but nobody was using it. And what's special about the MPO is that it has, the original version has 12 cores inside. That's a ribbon fiber with 12 cores. On the sides here, these are alignment pins. That's not fiber. So why is that so interesting? Because we can take our 10G signal, so 10G base SX on multimode fiber, which uses 2 cores. And it was designed for 300 meters on OM3, 400 meters on OM4. And now we take an MPO and we shove 4 of those inside. Simple. Just take 4 signals and put it into one connector. That's not magic. We're not creating a new technology. So this was already done a long time ago to use the MPO to allow a faster connection between servers, for example. So you only use 1 port and not 4 ports. However, there's an issue is that you need 4 emitting signals, pixels, lasers. That's 4 times the cost. So in order to reduce the cost, the performance was reduced. And you can see that the distance is no longer 300, but only 100 meters. This was for data centers only. Okay, so this was a cost choice. You take that same signal, you put it 10 times, and you get 100G. Again, no magic, it's the same one. This has been available since quite a few years. Now, today, we've ratified 25G. So 25G signal on 2 cores. The distances, again, are shorter in order to limit the cost. And you take that 25G signal and you multiply it 4 times and you get 100G. Right? 4 sent, 4 received. Notice I changed the drawing of my MPO. Here I was showing a 12 core with unused ports in the middle or on the sides. Here I'm not showing the unused ones. Because there's a tendency today not to use the 12 core MPO anymore, but to switch over to an 8 core or 16 core. It's a tendency. So this way you're using all your fibers and you're not leaving those center ones unused for no reason. That same signal, you multiply it even more and you get 400G. This is available today. Now, people are saying that's nice, but I don't want to use these types of connectors and cabling all the time. That's expensive. I have to use a special ribbon cable. I have to use the MPO connectors. So I'd like to use our traditional 2-core fiber with the LC connectors. That would be nice. So how do we do it? We take that 10G signal here. We put 4 of those at different colors, different frequencies. That's simple. But we send it into the same fiber. And this is WDM, so we're sending 4 colors of signal, 4 signals into the same fiber, which allows us basically to put only a duplex cable instead of this one. Because of the colors, it's going to be a different distance, so you cannot follow these. I'll explain it. Then, we also did the same on 25G. You take 4 signals of 25G and you get 100G. So people have a choice. They can either put duplex here or put an MPO. Great. Choice is better. And if you put even more of those, you get 400G, but this time, this is a mix of multiplexing and parallel optics. This is parallel optics, this is multiplexing. So if you mix the two, you get 8 cores which will give you 400 gigabits. This is existing today. That's the new stuff. This was just ratified a couple months ago. 50G VCSELs now. And again, 2 cores for 50G. And if you put 2 colors, you get 100G. And if you put 4 of those signals together, you get 200G. Great. 2 colors, that's strange. Why we didn't go to 4? Because we found out that there was an implication on the cost and the performance. And using only 2 colors might be a very logical choice. We'll see this on the slides afterwards. And there also was a WDM version of 50G for 200G with 4 colors. Then 400G in 2 different versions. Again, parallel optics or a mix of parallel plus WDM. Finally, this is the new stuff coming up. So this is in the drawing board right now, not yet ratified. There's going to be a 100G base. Because of this, this one is already cancelled. We already know it will not survive. Financially, it makes no sense. At the end, which one is cheaper for the customer because you get the same results, right? So we are looking now at 100G on 2 fibers, 200G on 4 fibers, 400G on 8 fibers possible. It's uncertain because maybe this might be a better choice. We don't know. Unsure. OM5 fiber. OM1, OM2, 3, 4. Who's heard of OM5? Few? So OM1 was an old 62 micron. OM2 to OM4 were 50 micron, and we only improved the bandwidth, the performance at one specific frequency or wavelength, 850 nanometers. Why this one? Because that's the wavelength we use to send the signal. So when we send 10G base SX, for example, it is at 850, plus or minus 25. Let's try to send more colors now. Whoops, I have a problem. My fiber was optimized at this wavelength. Now we want to send other colors here, but this fiber is not optimized for it. So it will not accept that signal to the same distance. It's going to be much, much shorter. So this is why I put in the slide before, caution on the distances. If you're using existing fiber, your wavelength multiplexing will be extremely limited. But you can use a new fiber called OM5. OM5 is basically an OM4, which also allows the other colors. That's it. And if you see here, it's still going down, so the performance here is still lower than here. So this is why it makes sense to use only 2 colors. So you have a fiber which is well optimized for 2 colors, but not so much for the other 2. So it allows you to keep the performance up and the cost down. So this is why today there's a great uncertainty about having 4 colors in the fiber. There's a high probability that the 2 colors will be dominant on this. Single mode, this one I'll go a little bit faster. All of this is existing. We've got the 25G base, the 40G, the 100G. What's new is the 50G to give something lower cost than 100, but better than 40. Why not? And same thing, multiplexing or parallel optics. And there's also a version with 8 wavelengths. And this is only in single mode. You don't do this in multi-mode. But again, multiplexing is nothing new in single mode. It's existed for many years. There's the fiber channel. Ooh, anybody's heard of fiber channel? This is really data center stuff. They also have similar technologies. We do not see this much outside of the data center, and even there, it's mostly for the storage area. So what's next? Ooh, I'm ahead of time. Our data centers will continue to increase. They always want better. So this fiber will continue to go higher and higher into data rates. We're at 800 today, we'll be at 1.6 tomorrow. Parallel optics has switched over. Before, we were on base 12, but because all of the parallel optics are base 8, it means that the MPO connectors will probably follow. So you will see more and more MPOs of 8, 16, maybe even 32, but less of the 12. If you didn't notice, the developments were on 25 and 50G, not on the 40G. So that base 40G is going to slowly disappear, and it will be replaced by the 25 and the 50, which are more efficient and will be more generalized. There's a question today on when is it better to use parallel optics with my MPO and ribbon fiber, and when is it better to use